the Ogun State Governor, Governor Prince Dapo, for his caring over my husband. He makes sure that everything is going all right.
I want to plead with everyone in Ogun State. Your governor is doing everything humanly possible at this time. We've spoken to Mr. President, we've spoken to the governor of Central Bank, I've been to Central Bank, I've met with the bankers. And you can see the situation is evolving positively. Please, I've met with the royal fathers, I've met with Bales. Please bear with us. We cannot resort to violence. Breaking banks, looting banks, breaking ATMs will not solve the problem. You will only create fear in the hearts and minds of the bank staff, and they will not want to open the banks. So please do not resort to any violence. This is not who we are in Ogun State. We're a peace-loving people. We are the gateway state. We are the industrial capital of Nigeria. We are the education capital of Nigeria. We are the religious capital of Nigeria. We are not violent people. Well, thank you for asking me those questions. I have come today to visit the victim that was caught in the crossfire by Strày B.Llét during the protest that erupted in Abeokuta yesterday. And we all know that these protests was a result of the frustration that our people had been feeling for quite some time. Frustration set in by the endless fuel queues and further exacerbated by the inadequate supply of cash following the CBN's Naira redesign policy and the Naira swap. When the deadline of 31st of January was stipulated, you all recall that all of us promptly complied. We went ahead and deposited all our old Naira notes in the banks in expectation of the fact that we would be able to withdraw same. But that is exactly where the problem is. I mean, definitely, the CBN reserves the right to redesign Naira notes. It is within their purview to do so, and no one is questioning that. But the fact that the ordinary citizens, the people in the informal sector, whose expectation was that they have now duly complied by depositing their Naira, how come they're not able to withdraw same from the banks? And you recall that on Monday, I was in Central Bank. I went to see for myself the supply that was given to them from Central Bank Lagos. I spoke to the controller. I pleaded with them to ensure that they push the same to the commercial banks. I met with the Bankers Forum, and I got their commitment to ensure that whatever it is the Central Bank makes available to them, they were going to push out. And that day, the supply from Lagos came late, and they promised that on Tuesday, they were going to begin to supply the commercial banks, the money deposit banks, and the money deposit banks will also make the funds available through ATMs, through POSs, through over-the-counters. They were even going to add the mortgage banks. But I believe what really happened was, considering the fact that the supply to the banks had run out from before the weekend, and here it was Monday, there was no money. Tuesday, CBN had to go through certain protocols, and they were not able to make the money available till sometime in the afternoon. The frustration had totally heightened, and our people took the streets. Sadly, this is not who we are in Ogun State. But when people's back are pushed to the wall, you can never predict what they're going to do. So yesterday witnessed the setting ablaze of some banks, the destruction of teller machines, the vandalization of different financial institutions, and the cost of protecting some of the employees of those banks. The police used some minimal force, and during that process, this young man was shot by a Strày bullet. I was totally heartbroken, particularly because we had anticipated this would not become so aggravated. I, alongside with my colleagues at the Governors Forum, Progressive Governors Forum, had met with the President. We had met with the Governor of Central Bank. We had been assured that this matter would be resolved, sooner than later. And watching and seeing, a young man, being shot was so heartbreaking. We thought the worst had happened. I quickly called on my entire health team, led my Honorable Commissioner for Health, to ensure that this boy was given prompt attention. And I want to thank everyone, particularly my commissioner, and the FMC led by the head, who is here, for the immediate professional intervention that they gave this young man. But for that, we will not be here today. We will be somewhere else, probably at the morgue. I want to congratulate them. I want to congratulate them because they have proven that indeed we have the local capacity, expertise, equipment. They responded with dispatch. They brought him here. This boy was shot in the arm. The bullet went through his chest and barely missed his heart. One of his arteries, his major artery on his right arm, was damaged. He had lost so much blood. When he was brought in here, this boy was unconscious. There was no pulse. His heart was hardly beating. And but FMC team, nurses, everybody worked very hard. They have performed an absolute miracle by bringing this boy back to health. I have seen the boy. The boy is stable. I'm told that his vitals are okay. He's speaking. We are very grateful to the Almighty God for saving his life. This boy's name is Gabriel Michael. So he has two angels combined in one. I'm sure that is one of the reasons why he's alive today. Yes. So my message. Let's first say that one of the takeaways from this is that we indeed have local capacity. If the government can continue to invest in our human resources and match it with equipment, we can save lives of our people. That's one thing. And I believe that from COVID and the experience we learned from COVID, we have continued to build capacity. And that is why we've been able to intervene like we have done and save this boy's life. That's number one. Number two, I want to plead with everyone in Ogun State. Your governor is doing everything humanly possible at this time. We've spoken to Mr. President, we've spoken to the governor of Central Bank, I've been to Central Bank, I've met with the bankers. And you can see the situation is evolving positively. Please, I've met with the royal fathers, I've met with Bales. Please bear with us. We cannot resort to violence. Breaking banks, looting banks, breaking ATMs will not solve the problem. You will only create fear in the hearts and minds of the bank staff, and they will not want to open the banks. So even if there's supply of cash in the banks and the banks are not open, you will still be just as frustrated. So please do not take it out on the bankers. The money is not there. The supply is a problem. Think about it. 3-4 weeks ago, you didn't have to break any bank. You didn't have to stand in queue at any ATM because there was supply. So obviously, it is the speed with which CBN is replacing the new note with the old note that is the problem. And I'm sure that, as you can see, all hands are on deck to ensure that this is, dealt with and this is resolved. So please do not resort to any violence. This is not who we are in Ogun State. We're a peace-loving people. We are the gateway state. We're the industrial capital of Nigeria. We're the education capital of Nigeria. We're the religious capital of Nigeria. We are not violent people. We've been acclaimed to be the most peaceful state in this country. And this is why we have become the industrial capital of Nigeria, and we have won several awards, including the award in Industrial Revolution. We cannot mar all this by just this simple event that is just, that is transient. We are going to get over this. So please, let's continue to join hands together. Let us be peaceful. Let us be orderly. Let us not be defined by violence. We had NSAS, and during NSAS, we were peaceful. So if we did it during NSAS, we can do it now. So I'm imploring and pleading with our parents, our guardians, our youth, our students, to please ensure that we did not allow this to degenerate or to result in any more violence. You can see what has happened yesterday. We almost lost a life. Thank God that he's alive. We do not want to lose any more lives. The life of every citizen of Ogun State is very important to me. I could hardly sleep worrying about this boy. I want to thank you all for being here. I want to thank, FMC, my commissioners, all the nurses, the entire team, the first responders, the you journalists. I want to thank you all. God bless you.